with our friend Keith Whittier. Whittier.com is the website. You will find him at CFL_fan on a multitude of other platforms, etc. Yes, a huge CFL guy, but the biggest movie nut I know. And you've been busy, I guess, with South by Southwest film reviews, etc. the last little while. But you want to bring our attention to one of the latest films on Disney Plus.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for having me. This week, I wanted to talk about a new series that dropped on Disney Plus this past Friday, which is, of course, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Just coming a couple of weeks off of WandaVision, this is the next installment in the Marvel franchise where we get to see the characters of the Winter Soldier and the Falcon back on the Disney Plus platform and back in the Marvel universe. One of the wonderful things that Marvel has the opportunity to do in this pandemic is, while the theaters are closed, they're basically saying that's okay. We've got our own thing over here with Disney Plus, and we can keep pumping out new content. So this is a 6-episode series. The first episode dropped last Friday. And again, when you're talking about Marvel, you don't want to get into too much detail because you're basically taking your life in your hands. You don't want to say anything that might be a spoiler. What I can say to the wonderful people, your wonderful audience, is this is a fantastic series. If the first episode is any indication, you're going to want to check it out. It builds off of the character arcs from Avengers Endgame. And as somebody from Marvel told me, Disney told me about a year ago, they have a lot of exciting stories and a lot of exciting things coming our way. And the first episode is an indication. I'm very excited to see where this goes next.
How are these movies getting done in a COVID world?
Yeah, so a lot of these projects would have been filmed in advance.
Okay.
And then the other thing as well is that there are a lot of precautions that are being taken on set in terms of cast and crew being tested regularly and things of that nature. And to be perfectly honest with you, the whole Marvel series was always pretty much a knit environment. It wasn't something that you would normally be walking out and see them filming as you would see many of the projects that are filmed here in Ottawa. A lot of it, of course, is green screen and things of that nature, which gives them the opportunity of doing it in studio. And plus, we're talking Disney. You've got to know that they've got like different compounds around that they can use to film this stuff as well.
Is Hollywood coming back? Like, are we going to see new movies this summer, or are we a ways out from that yet, do you think?
So one of the things that I've been seeing at the different film festivals that I've been covering is that this is the time for independent film. We're seeing a lot of strong independent stories.
Okay.
Some of them are based on what's going on with the pandemic. Some of them could be something as simple as a movie that I saw called Language Lessons, which pretty much has this type of format: 2 people for the entire movie talking on Zoom, and it's one person who's learning Spanish, who's in the States, from his Spanish instructor who was in Costa Rica, and they just have a fun dialogue back and forth, and we get to know the characters. So if you were ever thinking of becoming a filmmaker and you were concerned about budget, this is your time to thrive.
Record on Zoom.
Yeah,
shoot 720p.
Yeah, because listen, as long, I mean, it's not new, because there's been many Academy Award winning filmmakers that have used an iPhone to film. So we're in a point in our lives right now where the whole big blockbuster, I think, is taking a pause. You asked about big movies. The whole James Bond movie, they keep putting that off because they want to get the biggest bang for their buck, which I appreciate. But meanwhile, you're seeing so many strong independent films coming out to the Netflix, coming out to the Prime. So
yeah, I don't think anybody questions the technology. We've all seen what, cell phones can shoot, et cetera. And with a little bit of know-how, you can make it sound pretty good as well. But it's just, the idea that 2 people talking on Zoom, except, of course, present company excluded, but the fact that 2 people, sitting there talking on Zoom would be compelling enough to draw an audience at a box office or to, a variety of streaming apps is just really cool, frankly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it proves that movies really boil down to being all about a good story.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And again, it depends. If you have the person who only wants to see action films, well, maybe they want to stay home and, just kind of like dial up some of those other different action type films. But I think it's going to be a while before we see those types of movies. Because right now, again, I would say 90% of the things that are coming out through the festival circuit is more of the independent dialogue driven type of
So that
content.
leads us to the Oscars, and let me get to that then with this question.
Sure.
Are we seeing more independent films get recognized at awards shows now than we would have in the past due to the situation that we're in, or are the Oscars pretty much, still some of the bigger films that were able to get out last year?
Yeah, good question. So I think you're seeing, if you're taking a look at some of the different nominations, you're definitely seeing a lot of the different independent stuff. So the most anticipated movie of 2020 was a movie called Tenet, which is directed by Christopher Nolan. Big blockbuster, I think it was like $300 million budget. It got 2 Academy Award nominations, and they were in technical categories. No Best Picture, no Best Actor, unfortunately, no Best Director. Whereas when you look at some of the leading films, so for example, Promising Young Woman, which has multiple nominations, that premiered at the Sundance Film Festival, which is an independent film festival. You take a look at some of the other films, which are more so what I would call talkies, more dialogue-driven films. These are some of the films that talkies. These are some of the films, actual term, that you would see on Netflix. So the big blockbuster stuff. A lot of studios were very hesitant to release those last year because they wanted to make sure they got their bang for their buck in terms of a box office. But the box office isn't there right now. So
okay. So we've all had a chance to look over the Oscar nominations by now. Is there one that stands out in your mind as being an absolute lock, perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, when you take a look at the best lead actor category, Chadwick Boseman is absolutely, definitely going to win this award. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, you know what? Unfortunately, he passed away. So that is probably the reason why he's going to win it. That is completely false. The reason why he's going to win it is his performance was by far head and shoulders, and that's not a shampoo plug, but head and shoulders above all of the other nominees. This is interesting though, because what a lot of people don't know is Chadwick Boseman's acting education was secretly funded by Denzel Washington, who is also a producer on this film. So it kind of comes full circle. And as we trudge along during award season, he is racking up every single award for this role that he's been nominated for. He's already won the Golden Globe. He's won the Critics' Choice Award. The next big one is the Screen Actors Guild coming up in a few weeks, which I'm confident he'll win that. And I will be shocked, absolutely shocked, if he doesn't win Best Lead Actor. So anybody doing an Oscar poll, there's your first lock of the poll. I guarantee Chadwick Boseman will win Best Lead Actor.
Keith Whittier, Whittier.com, CFL_fan on Twitter and on Instagram. Are there other social media platforms you're on that people should follow you at?
No, you got them. You got them both. I haven't done the TikTok yet, so maybe you and I will have to figure that out one day. I don't know.
I've played with it. It's yeah, we'll talk.
Okay.
Thank you, Keith. And of course, I'd be remiss if I did not mention Ottawa Life magazine as well. You do writing for them. Thank you so much for joining us on Milky in the Morning.